I'm fashion journalist Alison Nieder, and today I'm speaking with Julien Born, LYCRA's president of Apparel. Welcome, Julien.
Hi, Alison. Nice to see you.
Let's get started with something on every business person's mind these days, the COVID-19 crisis. How has the LYCRA Company responded to the crisis, and what have you learned?
So in terms of response, first and foremost, we wanted to keep our employee safe and healthy. We shut down our offices or closed our offices, and we tried to keep our manufacturing sites running. We are an essential manufacturer, and we achieved that. And I think from that standpoint, our past as a DuPont company, very high on safety practices, has served us well. So beyond that, what we try to do during this time of crisis is lead. I think it's a great time for market leaders to lead, to stay close to their customers. It's not a good time to be a transactional relationship with your suppliers. And so we try to find creative ways to stay well connected, doing webinars, doing e-trade shows, e-meetings. And we actually found that in many cases, we were able to advance innovation projects, product developments and the like at a faster pace because people were more available, could have access in the same meeting to all the key stakeholders and key brand customers that we have. And so we've made nice inroads into in being ready when COVID is behind us, or at least when the economy starts recovering, to carry on with some of those projects. And you'll see some example of that at Kingpin with Advanced Denim, which I know we're interviewing tomorrow, and we'll give some examples of that.
Oh, excellent. But what about sustainability? What role will sustainability have to play in fiber innovation in the future? Will it still be as important as before the crisis?
We think so. Sustainability is something we've talked about in industry for years. Everyone understood that we were not on a viable course. Several examples of that, but a container every second goes to the landfill with garment waste. So something had to be done about it. It was really an inflection point about 2 years ago. And when we got into COVID, we were starting to be at a place where it was more systemic. There were roadmaps from brands and retailers that were pretty clear, and we're taking part of that. I think with COVID, we're starting to also realize that individual actions have societal consequences. We're all in this together. And I think consumer will probably ask more from their favorite brands in the future as far as how they manage supply chain, ethical manufacturing, labor, and so on and so forth. So it's really moving from sustainability to even more broadly societal and governments and other type of standards and issues. And we feel we're actually well positioned for that because we've got a very holistic approach to sustainability. We work on 3 pillars: manufacturing excellence, product innovation, and social responsibility. And one asset that we have that we believe put us at a nice competitive advantage is our LYCRA brands. It's an asset that is a big part of our enterprise value. And once you have a brand that's worth so much and you put your name and your corporate name next to your practices, your claims, you really have to make sure that you're clear on what you do and what you claim. And so I think brands understand that. It is a trust mark that we've built, and that's going to serve us well for innovation, we feel, in the context of sustainability.
One thing that's interesting.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. One thing that was interesting that your team was telling me about, that part of the R&D process for LYCRA is not just to respond to customer demand, but to anticipate consumer demand. Can you give me some examples of about that and tell me how the R&D process works?
Yeah, sure. I think that the best demonstration of that is our track record and the several changes that have taken place in the apparel industry through really consumer benefit and sometimes lifestyle changes, and in which the LYCRA Company has really somehow its hand on. I'm talking about athleisure, for example, shapewear, anti-lathering hosiery, most recently in denim, super stretch. And in all those cases, we don't necessarily initiate those changes. We don't create fashion or create trends. But what we bring is the technology, the networks, the more systemic approach to innovation, bringing all the value chain together, the mills, the yarn processors, and really starting from the consumer insights, mostly through our work with brands and retailers and our intimacy with them, but also through commission research, we really bring all that together and allow those brands and some entrepreneurs to really execute on their vision for change and for newness in the apparel category.
I see. I'd like to wrap up with a focus on denim and what the future looks like. What do you see the future looking like for denim?
Denim is an interesting category. It's built on a tradition, a heritage. People have a very personal association with denim. It's an impulse buy in many ways, and so we think there's always going to be that traditional approach to denim that means nothing always necessarily changes. There's going to be a lot of the same as far as the product. And our role in that environment will continue to be to do what we do as far as connecting the value chains and bring innovation through through our brands, through our scientists, through our applied research lab, and so on and so forth, and also the strengths of our manufacturing. But if you look further down the road, as far as really what are the transformation taking place in this industry that are going to change the future, clearly sustainability and digitalization are the two trends that are going to change the way we do business in apparel. We think that serves us well because we've got business that is built on brands, on intellectual property like patents, on networks, like I said, knowledge, and so on and so forth. So we can meet that challenge. And to give you one example around digitalization and advance of e-commerce, which, by the way, in COVID has exploded in many ways. One challenge in e-commerce is the cost of garment return, and a big part of that cost is associated with the cost of poor fit. The LYCRA Company has come up with a polymer that has different stretch characteristic, which is going to help address this issue short term. We're already working with many brands and retailers on such solution. It's a wider fit range that allows more consumers in a given size and with different body shape to feel more comfortable. But I think beyond that, brands and retailers are going to ask their supply chain to work together across also different levels of expertise to meet those challenges more realistically. So in that case, innovation is driven by data, by knowledge. We think that artificial intelligence, we think that app developers and companies like ours, which have the expertise in terms of the science of fit, will play a key role as well. So I think it's going to be interesting to track how those things evolve, but definitely we'll be doing business differently a few years from now, I think, and we'll be able to bring value in different ways.
Well, excellent. Well, I appreciate you spending the time to talk to me.
You're very welcome. It's nice talking to you.
Thanks.